All right, thanks, guys. Nice little slate of NBA games tonight, so let's go ahead and get into it, beginning with the Hawks taking on the Hornets. There we go, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Charlotte. The Hornets open 12.5 with the total at 233. And since those markets opened this one up, we're actually seeing a slight fade of Charlotte along with some movement toward the under. Right now, the Hornets are minus 12 with total moving downward to 232. Even. So once again, Charlotte opened 12.5 down to 12 even. Total open 233 down to 232. 54% are back on Charlotte. 61% still leaning toward the under. And at the moment, the Atlanta Hawks are plus 720 for some money line cash. Now, Charlotte has been a pretty good covering team this year. 13-7 against the spread overall. 7-3 against the spread in their games at home. The Charlotte offense is putting up 119 points per contest. They're also shooting 49% from the field. Now, scoring-wise, Charlotte is 6-4 to the over in their games at home. Meanwhile, Atlanta 4-1 to the over in their last 5. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean toward the chalk here. Give me Charlotte minus 12 in the over 232 in that one. All right, I just want to take a quick timeout before we get into some other games to just welcome you to the show. Got some lines and personal leans out for Wednesday's NBA action, but before we get into some more of that, I just want to quickly remind you to check me out at patreon.com/BrockPage. With a documented win percentage of 60% for the entire year of 2017, you're certainly costing yourself some valuable information each and every day you're not subscribed. Now, memberships begin at just $1.99 per month. There's also plenty of free content there as well. So once again, please feel free to just hit that pause button right now. Open up your browser and just type in patreon.com/BrockPage. It'll only take a few seconds. Link is in the description section below. And if you are a current patron of mine and you're currently watching me right now, I simply cannot thank you enough. You most certainly make it all worth it. We're 10-2-1 in our last 13 daily best plays. That's a part of that $1.99 membership. So great value there. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump right back into some more lines and personal leans. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got Knicks, Sixers, 7 o'clock tip-off in South Philly. The 76ers open the betting as the 11.5 point favorite, total at 225. And since those markets opened this one up, no real surprises here as Philadelphia continues to take a little money here. We're also seeing movement upward on the total. Right now, Philly's minus 12 with the total moving upward to 228 even. So once again, Philly opened 11.5 up to 12. Total opened 225 up to 228. 59% are now leaning New York. 60% still leaning toward the over. And at the moment, the Knicks are plus 790. For some money line cash. Now, the Knicks have been pretty good against the number this season, 14-8 against the spread overall, 8-5 ATS away from home. Meanwhile, on the Philly side, they're just 5-6 against the number at home. Their defense is allowing 114 points per contest as well. And scoring-wise, Philly 8-3 to the over in their games at the Wells Fargo Center, 15-7 to the over overall for the year. Meanwhile, on the New York side of things, they're 8-5 to the over away from home. Their defense is allowing 115 points per contest. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean toward a underdog in this one. Give me New York plus 12 and the over, 228 in this one. Next game, Jazz Nets, 7:30 tip-off in Brooklyn. The Jazz open the betting as the 3-point favorite, total 215.5. And since those markets opened this one up, no real surprises here as we're seeing movement toward Utah. We're also seeing movement toward the over. Right now, Utah's minus 3.5 with the total moving upward to 216 and a hook. So with all that said and done, Utah open 3 up to 3.5. Total open 215 and a hook up to 216 and a half. 59% are back on Brooklyn. 72% are now on the under. And at the moment, Brooklyn is plus 140 for some money line cash. Now, if you like Brooklyn to cover at home, if you like them as a home dog, just keep in mind that they failed to cover 6 out of their last 9 on their home court. They went just 1-2 ATS in their last trio of ball games as well. This Brooklyn defense is allowing 116 points per contest on their home court. They've also failed to win in 5 out of their last 6 at the Barclays Center. Really bad at home this year. Now, total-wise, Brooklyn 6-3 to the over in their games on their home court. Meanwhile, Utah 4-1 to the over in their last 5. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean Utah minus 3 after buying the half a point and the under 216.5 in this one. Next game, Mavs Rockets. 8 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Houston. The Rockets open the betting as the 6.5-point favorite, and total at 217.5. And since those markets opened this one up, we are seeing movement downward on the total. Not a whole lot of movement on the spread. Houston remains the 6.5-point favorite, but the total has moved downward to 216 even. So once again, Houston opened 6.5, remains 6.5. Total open 217.5, down to 216 even. 63% are leaning Houston, and the Mavs are plus 250. For some money line cash. Now, if you like the Mavs in an upset, just keep in mind they are 12-6 ATS overall, so not a bad bet for you if you're leaning toward Dallas. They've also successfully covered the number in 6 out of their last 7 ball games. Meanwhile, on the Houston side of things, not all that great against the number this year. 7-12 ATS overall. They've also failed to cover in 5 out of their last 8 at home. Now, scoring-wise, Houston's 5-3 to the over in their games on their home court. Meanwhile, Dallas 3-1 to the over in their last 4. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean toward another dog in this one. Give me Dallas plus 7 after buying the hook, and the over 216 in this one. Next game, Wizards Pelicans. 8 o'clock Eastern tip-off in New Orleans. The Pels open the betting as the 5.5-point favorite, total at 240. And since those markets opened this one up, no real surprises here as we're seeing action toward the Pels. We're also seeing action toward the over. Right now, the Pels are -6 with the total moving upward to 242. So once again, New Orleans open 5.5 up to 6. Total open 240 up to 242. 60% are still leaning New Orleans. 55% are now shaded toward the under. And at the moment, the Wizards are the $2 underdogs for some money line cash. They're plus 200 on the money line for an outright win. Now, Washington has successfully covered the number in 3 out of their last 4 ball games. They're also 6-3 ATS in their last 9. This Washington offense is putting up 113 points per contest. They're also 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 games in New Orleans, if you're into historical trends. Now, on the Pelicans side of things, they're just 5-10 ATS in their last 15. They've also failed to cover the number in their last 3 straight. Now, scoring-wise, New Orleans 14-7 to the over this year, a lot of overs. They're also 7-3 to the over in their games at home. Meanwhile, on the other side, Washington's allowing 122 points per contest away from home. They're also 6-3 to the over away from home as well. So I think Washington can keep it close, but I think we're going to see a lot of points in this one. Give me Washington plus 6, another underdog in the over, 242 in this one. Next game, Bulls Bucks. 8 o'clock tip-off in Milwaukee. The Bucks open the betting as the 14.5-point favorite, total at 226 and a hook. And since those markets opened this one up, we're seeing a slight fade of the Bucks. We're also seeing movement toward the under. Right now, Milwaukee's -14 with the total at 226 even. So once again, Milwaukee open 14.5 down to 14 even. Total open 226 and a hook down to 226 flat. 57% are back on Milwaukee. 51% are back on the over, so we should see those lines move again. And at the moment, the Bulls are plus 940 for some money line cash. Now, the Chicago offense is scoring just 101 points per contest on their home court, although, this Chicago offense is scoring just 101 points per contest away from home. They're also shooting just 43% from the field away from home as well. Chicago's just 3-9 straight up at home. Am I looking at this right? I got Chicago's home records here, so just totally disregard what I just said there. I think I'm off there. But Chicago did lose 7 out of their last 8 ball games. All right, that you can rely on. Chicago lost 7 out of their last 8 ball games at any location. Now, scoring-wise, Milwaukee, man, I'm all messed up on this one. Milwaukee's 14-6 to the over overall, 9-3 to the over in their games at home. This Milwaukee offense is scoring 123 points per contest on their home court, shooting nearly 50% from the field as well, 49% from the field. So with all that said and done, please disregard all that Chicago talk being at home, because they're not. They're on the road. But anyway, give me Milwaukee -14 in the over, 226 in that one. All right, next game, Spurs, T-Wolves. 8 o'clock tip-off in Minnesota. The T-Wolves open betting as the 4.5-point favorite, total at 216. And since those markets opened this one up, not a whole lot of movement on the spread, although we did see slight movement toward the over. Minnesota remains the 4.5-point favorite, but the total is now at 216 and a hook. So once again, Minnesota opened and remains as the 4.5-point favorite. Total opened 216 up to 216 and a half. Now 56% are back on San Antonio, 51% are now leaning toward the under, and at the moment the Spurs are plus $1.65 for some money line cash. Now the Spurs successfully covered the number in 2 out of their last 3. Their offense is putting up 113 points per contest away from home this year. Meanwhile, on the Milwaukee side of things, they're just 1-4 straight up in their last 5 taking on the Spurs. They also are just 1-6 ATS in their last 7 at home, taking on the Spurs as well. Minnesota 15-6 to the under so far for the year, 7-4 to the under in their games at home. So with all that said and done, give me San Antonio plus 5 after buying the 0.5 point and the under 216.5 in this one. Next game, Cavs Thunder, 8 o'clock tip-off in Oklahoma City. The Thunder opened the betting as the 12.5-point favorite, total at 215. And since those markets opened this one up, no real movement on the spread, although we are seeing movement upward on the total. OKC remains the 12.5-point favorite. Total moved up to 217. So once again, OKC opened and remains as the 12.5-point favorite. Total opened 215 up to 217. 55% are still leaning OKC. 64% still leaning toward the over. And at the moment, the Cavs are plus 840. For some money line cash. I wonder if these big underdogs, if one of them or two of them will cash tonight. I'm sure there's a couple D-gens out there that have a straight money line parlay with all 4 of these heavy dogs. But anyway, Cleveland, 3-1 ATS in their last 4. 6-3 against the spread in their last 9 away from home. Meanwhile, Oklahoma City, they failed to cover in 3 out of their last 4. They're also shooting just 44% from the field for the year. Scoring-wise, 4-1 to the under in OKC's last 5. Cleveland's 11-8 to the under overall for the year, 5-4 to the under in their games on the road. So with all that said and done, give me Cleveland plus 13 after buying the 0.5 point and the under 217 in this one. All right, next game, Magic Trailblazers. 10 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Portland. The Blazers opened as the 7-point favorite and the total at 217.5. Since those markets opened this one up, a lot of movement in this one. Portland is taking a little money. We're also seeing a little money move this line downward. Portland's now minus 8. Total moved down to 214.5. So once again, Portland opened 7, now 8. Total open 217.5, down to 214 and a hook. 74% are now on Orlando, taking advantage of that line movement. And at the moment, Orlando's plus 280 for some money line cash. Now, the Magic have successfully covered the number in 6 out of their last 7. They've also successfully covered the number in 6 out of their last 9 away from home. Meanwhile, on the Portland side of things, they failed to cover the number in their last 4 straight. They've also failed to cover the number in 6 out of their last 7. Now, scoring-wise, Orlando, well, they're scoring just 105 points per contest on the road. Their defense is allowing 107 points per contest on the road. Meanwhile, Portland, they're giving up just 107 points per contest on their home court. So I'm not foreseeing a whole lot of scoring in this one. All that said and done, give me Orlando plus 7 and the under 214.5 in this one. All right, next and final game for the show. It is going to be Suns Clippers 10:30 tip-off in Los Angeles. The Clippers open the betting as the double-digit 10-point favorite, total at 225.5. And since those markets opened this one up, a lot of movement on both the sides and the total. LAC is now minus 11.5. Total moved upward to an even 230. So once again, Clippers open 10, now 11.5. Total open 225.5, up to 230. 54% are still leaning Los Angeles. 51% are now shaded toward the under. And at the moment, the Suns are plus 590 for some money line cash. Huge underdogs tonight. I'm sure 1 or 2 of them have to cash, right? Well, the Clippers, 8-1 straight up at home this year. 7-2 against the number on their home court as well. Meanwhile, on the Phoenix side of things, they failed to cover in 4 out of their last 6. They've also failed to cover in 7 out of their last 10 on the road. And scoring-wise, the Clippers are 12-7 to the over overall for the year, 6-3 to the over in their games on their home court. So with all that said and done, give me the Los Angeles Clippers -11 and the over 230 in this one.